So, y'all know we got to talk about this sham of a show, right? Okay, DJ, cut the music. Cut the music, and y'all, I'm going to need y'all to hold y'all round of applause this time because we have got to talk about Deb, Anthony, and company playing in our faces for the last 6 weeks.
Wow.
And I try to keep my reviews under 15 minutes for the most part, but I'm telling you right now, this one might not make the cut. So if you haven't already done so, get comfortable. So as usual, the show opens with a recap of last week and everything that was happening. You know, all the shenanigans over at Daruchi, the first store. It's actually a leather store. I googled it to see because I'm like Cardi that way. I don't know. I had to look it up, and that's fine. Like I'm okay with not knowing everything. Anyway, Deb and Zank are arguing or going back and forth about whether or not the competition is for her. Deb is saying that it may be too much for Zank, and Zank is trying to convince her that it isn't. At the end of the day, Zank gets to stay and complete her photo shoot like the rest of the girls. She wore this black fur that she used as an over-the-shoulder piece, and she had like a white top on, so it worked. She had a decent photo shoot. The problem was, immediately following the photo shoot, Zank needed to sit down. And that's what Deb was concerned about this whole time. That's one of the things she was concerned about. Okay, in the next scene, Deb and Dr. Mita, I think that's her name, were discussing a party that the girls are going to. Deb is not going to be there initially, but Dr. Mita is, just to chaperone the girls and see how they're doing. Side note, I thought it was funny when Deb was telling Dr. Mita that Zank showed every bit of that ass at Daruchi. Gotta tell you, I had a good giggle at that. So now at the party, who Camille, whom I haven't been the biggest fan of, understood the assignment. Okay? My girl was interactive. She was inviting. She was impressive. She was the moment. Okay? It was nice to see her be about her business and not be so shady. Queen Izzy was, as usual, the 3 C's, cool, calm, and collected. While Rocky, on the other hand, was on some old isolation-ish. Like, she didn't want to talk to anybody. She was saying she's mad at AF. She didn't feel like being there. She wasn't even receptive to what Dr. Mita was saying. She was giving her the cold shoulder, and all she was trying to do was give her some advice. Zank wasn't even really shown at the party, except at one point when she asked somebody what their name was and introduced herself to them. So the night goes on, and at some point, Deb appears. And when she does, she makes an announcement that the girls are going to have to do an impromptu performance, which the girls are usually excited about, and this time was no different. Up first, we have Who Camille and Queen Izzy. Once again, they're performing together. I'm not sure why that is, but they do perform together, and they both do well, especially Who Camille. I'm telling y'all, Who Camille, this was her night. Next up was Rocky, who admitted that she had been walking around with a long face, but now she was ready. She was happy, and she was ready to spit some shit. And y'all, that's exactly what she did, spit shit, because she messed up royally. She was rapping about the same thing she'd been rapping about from the beginning. Like, I was hoping that she had something different, but it was the same old, same old. She wouldn't sing the hook. She forgot her words. Like, she was a hot mess. Last but not least was Zank. And Zank started off good. She started off well, but then she ran into a point where she forgot her words and couldn't recover without reading it from her phone.
Oh my
So that was
God.
a problem. And this is the point where my stomach started to turn. Because when Zank forgot her words, Deb was completely pissed off. Like, she stood up. She was like, "What's up?" And then in a confessional, she was like, "How you forget the words to your own song? Blah, blah, blah." But excuse me, Miss Ma'am, where was that energy when Rocky forgot her words? Like, what's happening? Zank admitted that she forgot her words. It seems her nerves got the best of her because she said it was a different crowd or something like that. So she was a little bit nervous. And then there was a point where after the performances, she was standing up. And I think it was Queen Izzy that asked her if she wanted to sit. And she was like, no. My guess is that she didn't want Deb to see her sit, even though she really needed to, because she actually stumbled while she was standing. So now it's post-performance, and Deb is having to sit down with the ladies. And she tells Rocky that she's disappointed in her, as she should be. But because Rocky can't take constructive criticism, she decides to do what? Leave the competition, y'all. She says that she feels disrespected. She doesn't want to continue to argue. If Deb is not going to get it on the third argument, she's not going to get it on the fourth argument, so it makes no sense for her to stay there. She proceeds to call her ride, pack her things, and she's out.
Bye-bye.
Now, Deb did tell her during the conversation that she wasn't going to kiss Rocky's ass, and if she wanted that kind of treatment, then she needed to find somebody else to manage her. And with that, Rocky is on her way back to Philly, where she is from. True EVE fans know what I'm talking about. Shout out to the incomparable EVE. All right, moving right along. My stomach is starting to turn even more because I just explained to y'all that Rocky self-eliminated. So color me surprised when Deb announces that she's holding eliminations. Excuse me, Miss Ma'am, why are you having eliminations? Rocky just did it for you. Like, what's happening? Anyway, at the eliminations, we have Who Camille, Queen Izzy, and Zank. Who Camille is safe from elimination because she won the golden mic. Like I said, she had a good performance and she did her thing and she won the mic, deservedly so. And when Deb reiterates to Who Camille that she's safe from elimination, Who Camille understandably gets a little bit emotional. She starts to remember her dad. She starts to remember every detail of when they laid him to rest, down to the weather outside. She says that everything she is as a performer, she got from him because he knew how to work a room. He knew how to make somebody feel seen and heard. And she thinks that's where she get it from. And I definitely could see that being the case because to me, that's what Camille brings to her performances. She has that stage presence. Queen Izzy is addressed next. And in her confessionals, she's saying how the house is cutthroat. She's questioning why they have to have eliminations when Rocky just self-eliminated. You know, she shares the same sentiments as I do. And she doesn't know what's going on. Okay? To this point, she has been one of the more reserved people there. She's pretty much a chameleon. She doesn't really, go against the grain. She just goes with the flow. So, color me surprised when Deb tells her that she needs to work on her attitude. Deb, you have got to be kidding me. I would have understood it more if she told Queen Izzy she needed to work on her personality. That might have been something that would have made sense, but not her attitude. Now, obviously, we don't see what's left on the cutting room floor, but I really just can't see Queen Izzy's attitude being an issue. Anywho, can't see it. Queen Izzy is safe, which means that Zank is going to be eliminated.
Oh my God.
Deb now turns her attention to Zank and tells her that she is sending her home so that she could work on her health because that's an issue. She wants her to go home and get healthy. Now, y'all, in the words of the revered Wendy Williams, can we talk? Because in my opinion, Zank was never going to win this competition anyway. I really feel like she was brought on because her size would attract viewers. It's a new show. They're trying to see how it works, what works, and everybody knows that big people bring viewership. It's the same thing when it comes to shows like My 600 Pound Life and The Biggest Loser. Sometimes people watch because they're in awe of what they're seeing. Other times, not so much, right? They feel like they're looking at somebody who's worse off than they are. I'm a larger person, y'all, and I know what it is when I sashay, okay, through the streets of New York City, giving them every bit of excuse you. You're in my way, I'm not in yours. No, y'all, but for real, when you're a big girl, you gotta have that attitude. Shit. You know, it's hard out here for a bitch when the stomach come out further than her tits. All right, y'all, back to serious lands, back to the show. And before anybody says anything stupid, no, I am not talking about Zank. I am talking about big girls the world over, including myself. You have to laugh at things sometimes. You can't always be serious. So that's what it is. I am not in any way, shape, or form speaking about Zank. I'm actually defending her because I feel like the show used her. That's my whole thing. Anywho, Zank is gone. And now Dr. Mita turns to Deb and says we're down to 2 people because it's just Who Camille and Queen Izzy. Deb's response is, well, maybe not. Stomach turn. Because in the next scene, Deb is taking herself to Philly, y'all. She is headed to Philly to bring Rocky back. She is in the business of keeping a woman who doesn't want to be kept, which to me makes zero sense. The title of the show is Who Needs It the Most. If she took herself out of the competition, obviously she's not that person. So what are we doing? Mm-mm-mm. Anyway, while Deb is chasing pavements, back on the home front, Dr. Mita is taking Queen Izzy and Who Camille to Hot 97 to be interviewed by Miss Shady Boots, Titi Torres, who started off with some nonsense. She started off with Who Camille saying her name wrong when she clearly knows who she is because she was there from the beginning. And then she insinuated that she's somewhat of a contradiction because she's a preacher's daughter who wants to rap. Well, Miss Who Camille quickly corrected her on both fronts, okay? Titi Torres followed that up by accusing Queen Izzy of not being upfront with her parents and asking her why is it hard to have the conversation. Now, Queen Izzy kept it cute and she explains her family dynamic to everybody. But the truth of the matter is, not everywhere in the world is as liberal as we are here in the U.S. In a lot of other countries and cultures, parents don't subscribe to individualism. Like, everything you do, everything you are, is representative of your family. So they're pretty strict, and that's it on that. I felt like TT Torres was a little bit out of pocket on that one, but it is what it is. They're adults. They handled themselves pretty well. After the TT Torres ambush, her co-host Drewski asked the girls to freestyle, which again they did pretty well. Back in Philly, Deb is in a boutique with someone that Rocky knows, having a conversation about Rocky when in walks Rocky. We pan back over to New York, where Dr. Mita is having lunch with Queen Izzy and Who Camille, and she's explaining the importance of having a personality going to go along with the talent because they're equally important in showbiz. Okay, they're taking us back to Philly, and before leaving, Deb is having Rocky speak with a friend of hers by the name of Freeway, who was a rapper, and he is just speaking to her about hardship and about keeping it moving even when she doesn't feel like it. He's telling her his story, and I guess he's hoping that it'll help her. So they make it back to the house. When Rocky gets there, first there's no one there. The girls are not there. They're out and about. She's looking around. She's like, "Girls, where are you?" She's calling out to them, but no one's there. And she's seemingly unaware that Zank has been eliminated because she's looking for her, and she's like, "Well, where's Zank?" When the girls do come home, they pretend to be happy to see her. And I say pretend because, come on, they both were like, "Oh my God, I'm glad you're back." But if that were me, y'all, I would not be happy. I would be P.O.'d, okay? You left, you're going, like, why you back? Oh, you forgot something? What's happening? Maybe it's the Aries in me, y'all. This is a competition. I just met you, baby. I don't like you like that. Deb is in her confessional saying that it's not favoritism, which is a lie from the pits of hell because that's exactly what it is. There's no reason why Rocky should be back. Anyway, we're on to studio challenge number 2. The girls are headed to the studio to record a song with beats created by producer Jaleel Knight. And at some point, Deb brings in her sister to help the girls with vocal coaching, which I thought was funny but smart. After the girls record their songs, Deb asked Jaleel if she could hear what they did, and he obliges. And apparently Deb is not happy with what the girls have done. She told them that they have to do it over again, that the venue that is holding the event, she's not going to go to because she's not going to be embarrassed. The girls are taking out, they're taking out Queen Izzy's hair, and they're looking at Deb like they don't understand what she's saying. But they end up going back to the studio which they're not too happy with. Okay, so now on to the challenge. First up is Queen Izzy. And y'all, Queen Izzy, I was pleasantly surprised by her. Like, she brought it tonight. I thought her song was cute. I thought her outfit was cute. I thought her personality was cute. I thought she was cute.
Good job.
Like, she did her thing. It's just a shame that she took this long to bring it, right? Next up, we have Rocky, who did okay. On a scale from 1 to 10, I'm giving it a 6. And that's only because she finally did a different song than she had been doing the whole show. That's what I was waiting for. She did mess up a little bit, but she quickly recovered. And so it is what it is. Nothing, it was no big deal there. Last up, you had Who Camille, who again has magnificent stage presence. She was very interactive with the crowd, but for some reason she sounded like offbeat to me. I don't know if it's something that production did on purpose, because you know how they give it up, but she sounded offbeat to me, but otherwise she was okay as well. All right, y'all. After the performances, Deb and her team deliberate and they talk about who did what and who they think should win. And that's before they asked Deb how she felt, to which she said she was confused. And then she came on stage to crown the winner, right? Before she does that, she says it's about who wanted it the most. That's what stuck out to her. That was her determining factor. And then she called Rocky's name as the winner. And my question is, how does Rocky fit that bill? She was the only girl that self-eliminated, for crying out loud. Like, how is it her? How is she the person that wants it the most? You know what I'm saying? Look, my take is this. I said what I said about Zank being exploited, and I feel like that. I mean that. When it comes to Rocky, I wouldn't be surprised if Deb knew her also outside of the show. I mean, think about it, y'all. Deb let her call her out. Deb went chasing payments when she left. Deb brought her back to the show, and Deb crowned her queen. Like, I feel like it's more to it than meets the eye when it comes to Rocky. Also, does it seem to anybody else that Rocky may have had work done? I'm talking about plastic surgery. Rocky is a very petite woman. Y'all see her standing in between Queen Izzy and Who Camille, right? She's a very petite woman with a huge bosom. Now, y'all, I don't know that lady from a can of paint. It could be that she got it from her mama, or maybe she, is able to pay for it herself. I don't know. What I do know is that it just seems like something is fishy. That's all I'm saying. That's it. That's all. That is what I believe, and I am allowed to believe whatever I want. So there's that. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see if, Deb develops Rocky into a big artist like a Nicki Minaj or whatever it's going to be. And also, Dank and Queen Izzy and Who Camille, if nothing else, they got visibility from the show. So maybe somebody will pick them up as well, because they do all seem very talented. So we'll see what happens. As for me, this was my first time as a YouTube creator, and it was fun. So I'm going to continue. I just have to figure out what show that I want to review next, and I'll take it from there. Hopefully you guys will check for me, please. Right? And I'll see you on the flip side. That's it for me. Take care now. Bye.